Now, to get into your business, OFBC, Ocean Falls Blockchain Corp, what makes it a great value? And in your mind, obviously someone who has operated in the financial industry and across various sectors, what made you realize that, hey, I really want to do this, and this is something that can really be awesome?
Well, I think it was, first of all, I got to give kudos to my partner, and the co-founder who I mentioned earlier, Kevin Day. He is someone who's educated me a lot about blockchain. Again, I often joke that I have like a grade 3 level education in it, but because so few people don't understand it at all, I can sound smart. But I think, the great value is we've got Kevin who truly understands this. He's educated me. We work well as a team. We have a number of employees now. But I think what's unique about Ocean Falls, and you'll hear me say this when I talk to other people, is, and Kevin's taught me this, blockchain is going to be transformative in the world from a technology point of perspective, from a technology perspective. And but what's so important is to solve real problems. A few years ago, we saw many companies just add the name blockchain to themselves, and it did work for a short period of time. There are many problems and issues and efficiencies or inefficiencies that blockchain can solve. And we as a company are trying to focus on business verticals that really will solve those.
Hmm. And what are some of those verticals? Because as AI has advanced, for example, a lot of people don't even realize where AI is in their lives. So to talk about a technology and its advancement, how will people begin to experience blockchain more in their lives?
Yeah. Well, I think, look, blockchain will disintermediate, many businesses. And if you look at some of the most profound, where the most profound impact will be, I think we don't know where it will be over the long term. I often joke it's much like when we dialed up the internet 25 years ago. No one knew it was going to turn into an Uber Eats app on your phone.
Hmm.
That said, if you look at industries, financial services, we've focused to a certain extent, and we see opportunities in insurance. Very much so. That's, it's such a paper-driven agency business. Healthcare can be another one. Real estate. There could be so many different areas. The financial services sector, aside from banking. So I think it's going to touch a number of different areas, and we can get into specifics. But if you just think about the opportunity to have a ledger and really just remove some of the agency costs, the inefficiencies can be profound, or the efficiencies found can be profound.
Yeah, really imagine the impact on government there as well. Talk
Yeah.
about paper-driven industries.
And it's interesting, governments are moving towards that. We've had engagements briefly, not at a high level, even with the government of Canada. It's a process. And again, just if you look at where blockchain is right now, it's in the ecosystem. I mean, everybody understands there is value there. Everyone's just still trying to determine exactly how it fits in their own space. And for many companies, is how do you generate revenue from it? I mean, I think that's something it's just going to take a little time, but it's happening very, very quickly.
Are there, of any of those that you just mentioned, are there any specific applications that are most impactful so far, as in for the recent years, perhaps that someone would be able to identify and understand for how it impacts them?
I'm trying to think if really, that where we're seeing it. I think we're seeing it again. We're starting behind the scenes, really in the financial services sector. But I don't think it's really hit Main Street yet. For that fact, because you're hearing the banking companies, all the large companies are out there are looking at it. But I mean, from a certain perspective, I guess we've seen it in entertainment, I would say, and socialization. Where that is people buying land in the metaverse. I mean, that's
Yeah.
a blockchain application, NFTs. And again, I truly believe it's not for me. I don't have a digital, hockey card or digital memorabilia yet, but I truly believe, for example, that NFTs are the democratization of much of the artwork, sports memorabilia that we can talk about, because it will allow through smart contracts, and that's really where a lot of the blockchain will come through smart contracts. It's going to allow artists, musicians, athletes to continually generate revenue streams. Whereas before, if an athlete signed, had one card, a rookie card, Tom Brady, it was then sold. He or she, in this case, Tom, would never be allowed to participate in the growth down the road. So we've seen it sort of in these peripheral areas. I think that's just the first stage, and we know it went through a parabolic rise, and it's come off recently.
Mm.
But that's like any new technology. I mean, things, take time. It goes through a period of FOMO and then restructuring and then back again.
Absolutely, and I'm really glad you mentioned that, because that's what popped up in my mind. As someone, and anybody can relate to this, they see the advancement or advent of a new technology. Technologies get created, such as cryptocurrencies, for example. There becomes that exact FOMO phase, the extreme inflations of value, and then people, it crashes, as all things do, when they experience meteoric rises, and then people say, "Oh, it's a scam," and they run away from it. And then 10 years down the road, the brand new technologies that impact their lives, that were always in, they're always in progress, and they're actually fueled by those sorts of things, are really kind of, if you can zoom out, that's the more impactful long-term view of how technology comes about and accelerates. So definitely a moment of perspective for anybody, as looking previous, or but also future, as
Right.
people are looking at new technologies coming out. So thank you for sharing that there.